Thank you so much, Joe. We do have a couple of apologies. We have an apology from Andrew Broad, who couldn't be with us today, and our Mayor, Pam Clark, couldn't come along as well. But we acknowledge the presence of Emma Keeley, thanking her for coming along. Your support means a lot, and we know you have to duck off to another appointment, so thank you for coming. It is now my pleasure to invite Councillor Josh Koenig to come forward on behalf of Mayor Pam Clark and the Horsham Rural City Council to say a few words. Please make Josh welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone. As Justin said, my name is Councillor Josh Koenig, and on behalf of Mayor Pam Clark, who recognises this is a very important cause and sends her apologies, I would like to welcome you all here on this important afternoon. As new ambassador for the local White Ribbon Group, I feel very privileged to both being nominated to become a new ambassador, but also being asked to complete this short speech today. Unfortunately, violence against women is not an uncommon event. I have some statistics that I will share with you shortly, but I should really start by stating that it's important that we note that the majority of men are not violent. However, this is a gender-based issue that we're here to address and acknowledge. We need men to be our allies in order to push forward with the work that this local committee and the wider White Ribbon Foundation is completing, this ongoing mission that is to stamp out violence against women. It should be pointed out, and it's important to be aware of, not all violence against women is perpetrated in a physical sense, with other forms of family violence such as emotional, financial, social, religious and cyber being just as prominent and just as damaging. In 2016, throughout Victoria, the police responded to over 78,000 instances of family violence. 78,000. To break that down a little bit further, this equates to 1,500 incidents per week and over 200 per day. This is in Victoria alone. While you're all processing that data, keep in mind that these are only the incidents that are reported to police, and family violence, although it's improved slightly, is still something that is widely underreported. More than half of the women that do report family violence have children in their care. The cumulative effect on children and the impact on their early childhood development is immeasurable. Some further data states that 1 in 3 women will experience physical violence in their lifetime, while 1 in 5 women will experience sexual violence in their lifetime. That's 1 in 3 and 1 in 5. In Australia, there is 1 woman killed per week by a current or former partner. Alarmingly, and that a lot of you present here today will probably be aware of, is that locally, Horsham has twice the state average of family violence incidents. And unfortunately, Horsham ranks among the highest in the state for rates of violence against women, that being inside the top 5. As concerning as this data is, and how much of a reality this is for a lot of women within our community, across the state and the country, all hope is not lost. We as a collective can say no more and take the oath to never commit, excuse or remain silent about violence against women. We can all do this together and be the circuit breakers. I urge you to reflect, and if you or someone that you know might be in a situation where they feel unsafe, speak to someone that you trust or encourage them to do so. There is help available and you are not alone. I will stand up and act to prevent men's violence against women. I hope you all will stand with me. Thank you for listening and being a part of today.
Thank you so much for your comments, Josh, and it's really poignant when you take into account those statistics. It's very frightening that that is still happening in this day and age. The fact that there was 78,000 incidents of family violence that occurred in Victoria in the last 12 months, and 75% of those were female. And I guess that's why we're out here today for White Ribbon, to raise awareness and to hopefully get individuals and our community to take action to address this issue of violence against women. Locally, like Josh said, the rates of family violence per our local government areas are frightening. So Horsham and Ararat are more than double the state average. Hindmarsh, Northern Grampians and Yarra are well above the state average, about 1.5 times the state average. So I guess the message today is that we all have mothers, grandmothers, aunties, sisters, female friends, colleagues or schoolmates. and some of you may even have daughters or nieces. And it is our hope that you would want to help create a society where they are free from this threat of violence. So we need to take a stand, and we all have a responsibility to address the issue of violence against women. I would now like to introduce our guest speakers for today, who come from the Horsham Football and Netball Club. They are Anna Pickering, Luke Carr and Rod Dummersney, who's the former chairman of the club. And they're going to speak to you today about a simple project that they completed this year in conjunction with the local White Ribbon football and netball round that had a pretty far-reaching impact. So please make them feel welcome. So we're going to show the video in a minute, but we'll just ask Anna a few questions. So Anna, what's your role at the footy club?
I was previously a Director of Administration, but I'm also in the admin role, and I'm a Wellbeing Officer at the club as well. But in terms of Horsham, I work at this high school as a Wellbeing Coordinator, and I've had 10 years experience as a child and youth mental health nurse.
So why did the Horsham Football and Netball Club or yourself instigate the video that we're about to see?
The Horsham College are doing a lot around respectful relationships at the moment, and we were in a staff meeting one night where we were showing the statistics of how it relates to Horsham, and it just alarmed me so much. And that coupled with, I was increasingly seeing people, seeing students come to me and express how much violence is going on in the home. And it wasn't physical violence that was probably the main thing, it was more so around verbal and emotional, which really concerned me. And my partner has daughters, and that I thought, I don't want young kids growing up thinking that this is the norm, or girls or boys, that thinking that this is what life is, that you have to accept violence. So I suppose through my position at the footy club, I just asked the boys if they would take the oath, because football clubs particularly have such a social responsibility. They have more, I suppose, pull than they probably give themselves credit for, and they are role models whether they like it or not. So their behaviour is being watched by young people and also being modelled. So if they see them getting up, so like a Deke Roberts or Tim Wade getting up and saying, "Oh, don't tolerate violence," then they're going to think, okay, well, this is good. We don't tolerate violence.
It's interesting you say that. You've named a couple of the players. What were their reactions? Because some of them are quite young boys or young men, and you've got some older players at your club as well. How did they feel about standing up and taking the oath and making the video?
Yeah, they were really, really accepting of it. A lot of them, particularly I remember Bailey Batchelor and Billy Carberry's reaction to the actual stats that I provided, because I broke it down to be Horsham specific, and they were really shocked, particularly because they've got younger sisters themselves. But all of the boys were fantastic, and it actually had a far-reaching effect, more than I thought it would. I just put it on our Demons Facebook page, and it went a lot further than that. So the boys were fantastic. But I suppose the biggest thing for this is that even if someone isn't proud of their behaviour, so a male or a female aren't proud of their behaviour and how they're treating another person, then it's okay to get help. And I hope that's what was sparked in some people's minds when they watch this, because we don't want you to think that what you're doing is okay and then sit in that not being okay. It's all about getting help.
Thank you, Anna. Now, if I can ask you, Rod, what has been the reaction from the supporters of the club and the sponsors of the club, and maybe some of the people on the board, as to the reactions from making the video?
Yeah, nothing but positive. It was Anna's project, as you said, and all the guys got behind it. We had a WorkSafe Netball Victoria game at the City Oval during the year, which was a huge crowd, and this video and event was promoted highly on that game too, and that went over really well with WorkSafe and the whole community there too. So yeah, right behind it, and fully would like all other clubs and all other organisations, you don't have to be a sporting organisation, but would ask everyone with those statistics around Horsham to join the cause, and whatever way we can do, whatever percentage we can help to stamp it out, then I think that's a positive.
Please give them a huge round of applause for the Horsham Football Netball Club. And that's a great challenge to us all. I think that's a really good message, Rod. A lot of people here would be associated with football, netball clubs, or they'd be associated with clubs outside of their workplaces or their schools and things like that. So that's a great message to pass on, and be fantastic to see lots of other organisations or businesses coming forward and doing something similar. So we'll have a trial of watching the video. We understand we're outside, so it may not come through really clearly. Otherwise, please check out the Horsham Football Netball Club Facebook page. It is a really powerful video, and we'd encourage you all to have a look, but just listen to the message if you're unable to see the footage.
This weekend's Horsham Demons versus Warwick Eagles match is dedicated to raising awareness to the White Ribbon campaign.
On average, 52 women are killed every year as a result of intimate partner violence.
Last year alone, there were 540 reported incidents of family-related violence in the Horsham area.
And this is only what is reported to police. Tip of the iceberg.
This weekend, we will stand up and speak out to violence against women.
I'll stand up and speak out and act to prevent men's violence against women.
This is my oath. This is my oath. This is my oath. This is my oath.